Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Football is finally back and Chelsea face Burnley in the early kickoff tomorrow. And we're going over Enzo Maresca's pre-match press conference where he talks about players like Axel Disasi, Raheem Sterling, Estevao and Jorgensen. Not only that, but he gives us a massive injury update and also talks about Cole Palmer's freak injury. We're also going to be predicting Chelsea's start 11 to face Burnley. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 15K by the end of the season. You can also use the new YouTube hype feature, which pushes this video out to a bigger audience. Kicking things off, Bobby Vincent has reported what Enzo Maresca said on Estevao. He said he is back from international team where he scored 2 goals. He is very happy and we are very happy with him. And I'll tell you what, Enzo, every Chelsea fan is extremely happy with Estevao as well. Scoring 2 goals on the international break, 2 goals in 2 games, being such an influential player and being a player that's showing so much talent at a young age is just exciting for not only Chelsea fans, but football in general. The amount of rival fans that are saying Chelsea have got a gem here, he's going to be a problem facing rival teams, is unbelievable. Now, we know that Enzo Maresca likes to protect him in terms of the minutes and his age and, you know, man management in terms of his game time. So I very much doubt he's going to start against Burnley. Now, normally with South American teams and players, they usually travel a long way around the world for their international breaks. However, for Brazil this time, it was actually played at the Emirates in one game, and I think it was in France, in Lille, for the other game. So the travel was very limited. So we may actually see Estevao start against Burnley. However, I personally feel like he'll probably go for Neto because of the experience and the trust that he has in him. Not that he doesn't trust Estevao, but again, he's very protective over his man management and the minutes that he's getting. And he did score 2 goals in 2 games against Brazil. My argument is, you know, reward the merit of performance, and he should be starting because he played so well. Keep that momentum going. He's starting to impact Chelsea games, well, he has been since he's been getting these limited minutes. He's a joint top goal scorer with very limited minutes. So it'll be very exciting to see him start because I feel like a Burnley game, it's going to be a tough, gritty game. It's the early kickoff. Historically, Chelsea aren't very good at early kickoffs. I think a player like Estevao can really bring some magic to the start of the weekend. And I'm hoping he does start, but I'm glad that everyone's happy with him because honestly, this guy's trajectory is going so far high. And as long as he continues the way he's going, he is just a special player that we get to witness grow and develop day in, day out, week in, week out, putting on a Chelsea shirt. Enzo Maresca then speaks on the Jorgensen transfer rumours, and he says, I spoke with Philip at the beginning of the season and I didn't speak with Philip in the last days about that. All the players that don't play a lot, they want more minutes and it's completely normal. And I totally agree with what Enzo Maresca is saying here. If you're not playing, you want to play. I say this all the time, especially when there's a lot of transfer rumours. Professional players have a very short career. They want to play as many minutes as possible, win as many honours as possible, and play at the highest level possible all the time. That's just the game. The game is the game. Now, with Jorgensen, I kind of feel a little sorry for him. I feel a little bit of empathy towards him because he was brought in, I think it was around, I think I saw some reports yesterday, it was like 21, 25 million. I thought it was a lot more than that. It might have been the euro conversion. I'm not even sure. I actually thought it was around 40 million, something around that for Jorgensen. I could be wrong. Some recent reports saying about 21. Regardless of that, we brought him in. It was one of Enzo Maresca's first signings. There was a lot of rumours around that signing saying that Maresca didn't want him in the first place. But it made sense to kind of, you know, we take Enzo away from Leicester. We also got KDH and then we brought Jorgensen. The sort of conspiracy around it is they know how he plays. They know his system. It's going to help bed it into the new Chelsea team that he's going to be building on the foundations that Pochettino had left. And that kind of makes sense. When you go out and you buy a new keeper, you usually want to buy them to play them as your number one. But that didn't really materialise for Jorgensen. And I feel empathy for him because he's had limited opportunities in terms of the bigger picture. He has played a lot of games for Chelsea when you think about being a number 2. He has had that rotation with Sanchez. He's just not seized those opportunities. Now, whether that's unlucky in terms of the opposition just outplaying Chelsea and conceding unstoppable goals, maybe a few of them. But most of it is his positioning, his lack of being able to command the box, claim crosses, giving concussions to your own players at times, which I know was a freak accident, but, you know, it is what it is. I just feel like Jorgensen has looked very low on confidence and very shaky and very anxious between the sticks for Chelsea. And I kind of feel for him because maybe he's the type of keeper that needs a run of games to build his confidence. We persevered with Robert Sanchez this time last year and he was conceding loads of errors leading to goals and he led that league. He was in a league of his own in that sense. And we persevered with Sanchez, and Maresca has even adapted his playing style over time to more accommodate Sanchez in terms of his poor short-range distribution, incorporating longer distribution where he does thrive. And we know he's a good shot stopper. He can command his box. He's claiming more crosses and, you know, nullifying that sort of threat from the opposition, but also building his confidence. And he has really improved over the last 6 months or so. Yes, he made a mistake against Manchester United, but you look at the rest of the season, I can't really name you any mistakes he's made, which has led to goals. like purely Sanchez's fault. There might have been a few passes that he sold short, but we managed to recover from, whatever. He's not perfect, but he has really improved. So I kind of feel for Jorgensen in that sense, because I'm sure that he does want to play more minutes. I'm sure that he could go to a lot of clubs and be their number one and do a very good job. Unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out at Chelsea. So I do believe that there are sort of truth to the rumours that he wants to leave in January. I mean, it was reported by Fabrizio, who's very rarely wrong. He's not perfect, but he's pretty much bang on 99% of the time. He obviously wants to get more game time, and I don't blame him. So it is going to be very interesting with the goalkeeper situation in terms of what Chelsea do. Is it going to be a loan so we can go get that game time and still keep him on the books? Are we going to cut ties with him and sell him straight away and try and flip him for profit? If it is that 21 million, then I feel like we can get profit for him. I think he's a better keeper than Petrovic in terms of statistically. I know Petrovic is playing a lot more games now. He's the number one at Bournemouth. But, last season he had a development year in Strasbourg and it's not comparable to the Premier League, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's up for debate. You can say that Petrovic is better. It is what it is. I still think we could get more money on the 21 million if we are to sell him. He's only been at Chelsea for 18 months, so I do feel for him in that sense. I feel like he's not been given a real fair chance, considering how poor Sanchez was last season. But he did get his opportunities, even this season he has, and he's just not impressed. So, I think that there is a lot of truth to it. Maybe he does want to leave. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Does that mean Chelsea go get Mike Mannion on a pre-contract in January? Do we bring in Mike Penders off of his development loan at Strasbourg and have him fill in as number 2 immediately? Who really knows? Only time will tell. But I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Jorgensen. Do you think he is going to go? Do you think it's going to be a loan? Do you think it's going to be a sale? Can we make money on him? What happens with the goalkeeping situation if he leaves? Enzo Maresca then speaks on Axel Disasi. He said, I said many times that Axel and Raheem are Chelsea players. Axel is helping the second team, the young players. We had 5 or 6 players here during the break and Axel was part of some sessions with the second team players. But I think it's just one session. At the moment, he is helping the second team. He is a Chelsea player and he is here with the second team. I don't think Enzo Maresca could have said the word second team anymore if he tried. I'm going to be honest. But this is him reiterating that Axel Disasi has no hope in hell in playing first-team football under his tenure. It's reiterated. He was very, very clear when he came in, and I respect a manager that can do that, put his foot down, set his rules, lay his foundations, and stick to them. Except tactically, we have to be flexible, things aren't working. But in terms of the squad that you have, we know how we have a revolving door policy, players coming in and going all the time. Maresca was very, very clear. These players I want to use, they're part of the project, they're part of the future. These players, don't care. Keep them fit, do what we need to do, but they are not part of our plans. And I respect that. I really, really do. It's very tough for managers to do that. It's very tough for the players to accept it. But we have steadied the ship. We're growing on what we built on last season. And Maresca doesn't want to rock that boat. I totally get it. However, I also respect a player who can take that type of criticism, can put their head down, not whine about it one bit, not moan about it one bit, and grind and work their socks off to try and get earn their place back into the first team. I respect that as well. I really, really do, because that's what a lot of people do in everyday life. They get their head down, they work hard, and they try and get to their goals and try and achieve it. So fair play to Disasi for actually taking on this role, taking the criticism, working hard, and trying to fight his way back in. And I think it's very clear what Maresca's saying. Look, he is part of Chelsea. He's a Chelsea player, but he's part of the second team. He was here in the break, he had one session, he's there to help the second team. And I like that, because when he's playing for the under-21s and he's helping the youth, that's going to have a long-term effect in the players coming through. That's very, very positive in terms of what he's leaving at Chelsea. Unfortunately for Disasi, his name is still 1 or 2, like first or second, on the list to leave in January alongside Raheem Sterling. Nothing has changed. Maresca has reinforced that, which is a shame because, like I said, I respect the person who can, work hard, try and achieve their goals, and maybe just earn the opportunity to get limited minutes. Do I rate Axel Disasi as a defender? No, I've made that very, very clear on this channel many, many times. However, that doesn't mean I will disrespect the fact that he's working hard to try and earn that right. If he still earns that right and he's just not good, then yeah, cool. But if the plan is to sell him in January, I kind of understand that he's there to help the second team until he leaves. It's as simple as that. Maresca's made that clear. So Disasi and Raheem Sterling, first 2 players to leave Chelsea in January. Maresca then speaks about Gusto's recent form, and he said, we said many times that Malo is the main player in the way that we want to play. He can play in different positions. We like players that can be dynamic with. Malo, personally, I consider him as a main player for us. This is wild hearing this, because I personally don't think that Gusto has had a very good string of performances under Maresca's reign. However, and there is a big however, we have highlighted this season specifically that he's had good performances and they've been better and better. He's now scored his first Chelsea goal. He's being able to play in that midfield role, support on that right-hand side, get forward in them half-10 spaces. Do I think he's perfect? No, of course not. But he is really showing a level of consistency which we didn't see for large spells last year. So when I hear Maresca say this, you kind of go, wait, what? Malo Gusto has just been an average player under Maresca. But he values him and holds him in a certain light, because he's a key player for this system. And we are starting to see that this season. So maybe us fans got it wrong with Malo Gusto in terms of how Enzo Maresca sees him, views him, and wants to use him. And maybe now we're starting to see what Maresca was thinking long-term last season when he first come in, and what Malo Gusto has taken to sort of adjust to these roles and really step up and be able to play these. Because there's been times where Gusto's been in that 6 role, he's been in them half-10 spaces, and just looks like a lost sheep. He doesn't know what he's really meant to be doing. Now, defensively, he's very good as an offensive right back, going forward, bombing up and down, putting the balls in. Under Pochettino, he was unbelievable. Defensively, I still think there are holes to his game, and that's me being an armchair fan. I know he is a right back, but if you had to kind of weigh up his skill set as a right back or as a defender, I would say the offensive side of his game is better than his defensive side. He's not known for his one-on-one defending or shutting players out down that right-hand side. So I feel like that can be improved, because I feel like he does get caught out, many times defensively from his positioning. But he has played a lot better this season, so I'm all for it. I'm happy to hold my hands up and say I'm wrong about a player, because our opinions can change and we grow as people. I'm still yet to be convinced about Malo Gusto, but what I will say is this season he has played a lot better than what we saw last season. So maybe there is a lot of weight to this and what Maresca's saying in terms of how he's useful to the system and how we play and how he rates him. I don't know. Hopefully we see the rest of it across the season and we go, do you know what, Malo Gusto, most improved player this year, really showcases how important he is to the system. The jury's still out for me, but I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on Malo Gusto down below in the comments. Maresca says that Badiashile is back and available for tomorrow. He then talks about other injuries and says Moises Caicedo came back last night. I will see him soon. He is good. Badiashile can be available for tomorrow. Enzo Fernandez and Pedro Neto used the break to recover their energy and their injuries. They are both available for tomorrow. This is huge. One, Badiashile has come back like a month early. So I don't know what's going on with that. He's like superhuman, apparently, and he's come back a month early. And I think he's going to be a really pivotal player for Enzo Maresca and Chelsea this season, playing that left-sided centre-back. I really, really do. Because we saw a glimpse of how good he can be in that role against Liverpool. He looked unbelievable. Badiashile before his first injury when he signed, when he looked like a Rolls-Royce defender for about 6 or 7 games. If that's the Badiashile we're going to get for the rest of the season, cool. Sign me up to be his number 1 fan, because I've been very, very critical of Badiashile for his poor performances since that injury. Now, if he comes back and performs like that, I'm all for it. And I actually think that he may start tomorrow in that left-sided centre-back position if he is ready to go. I personally, and we're going to go over the predicted 11, but I feel like our starting centre-back partnership could be Badiashile as a natural left-sided centre-back and Fofana. I think that's what we could see tomorrow, but we'll go over that a little bit later in the video. That's really good news. Caicedo coming back, again, I don't really know where Ecuador were playing their international friendlies, but normally it's just a lot of travelling because the South American teams either go back to South America or anywhere else. So it's always a bit of a rush to get him and Enzo back after international break. But Maresca always seems to play them because they're very pivotal to the system, and Moises Caicedo is just a machine. And real life and the laws of physics don't apply to him. Reality doesn't apply to him. He lives in a world of his own because he's that good. So he will be ready and he will more likely be playing tomorrow. Fernandez taking the break to recover. We love that. Pedro Neto, again, we love that as well, because I think Pedro Neto is a very good player for Chelsea. I think he's very overhated at times. Yes, he's frustrating to watch for sure, but I really rate him. Maresca loves him. Absolutely loves him for his defensive work rate and his offensive work rate. Yes, he's frustrating, but he will be playing tomorrow, no doubt, because Enzo Maresca trusts what he can do for both sides of the game. He's made that very, very abundantly clear. So this is huge. Fernandez, Pedro Neto, Moises Caicedo, and Badiashile already fit and raring to go for the Burnley game tomorrow. Enzo Maresca then speaks on Cole Palmer, and he said he's probably not available for tomorrow for sure, Barcelona for sure, Arsenal for sure. Unfortunately, he had an accident at home with his toe, but it's nothing important. For sure, he is not back next week. He goes on to say, we don't know, it's fractured. The only thing we know is he's not available for this week and next week. I wake up many times in the night to go to the toilet. I hit my head and leg and everything. It can happen. He then talks about Chelsea coping without Palmer, and he laughs and says, absolutely not. I don't think that. The team prefer it when Cole is playing. I feel much better with Cole on the pitch, but when he is not, we need to find solutions. The team is doing fantastic. click really well. For any manager, it's nice when you miss a player, but the team still plays in the way that you want it to. He speaks more on his toe problem and says, the last time I saw him was yesterday morning and he was without socks, without flip-flops, without nothing. I don't know how he is today. It was in the changing room. He wasn't limping, he seemed okay, but it's his small toe, so it can be painful. The Telegraph have reported that Chelsea have had a football boot specially adapted for Cole Palmer to help him return from his freak injury setback as quickly as possible. The club hope that if all goes well, that Palmer could return in time for either the trip to Leeds or Bournemouth. This is wild. Cole Palmer can't catch a break. He's had a reoccurring groin injury since the Club World Cup. He's been playing through pain. He's taken 6 weeks off, 2 months off, or whatever it may be, with a groin injury to rest and recover. He's on his path to coming back. He was on the grass training just a couple of days ago during this international break, and now he fractures his small toe because he kicked it on a door. You can't write it. You really can't write it. And now the Telegraph are reporting that Chelsea made a special boot to help him come back quicker. What? This is wild. So Cole Palmer we thought was probably going to miss the Burnley game. We thought it was probably a bit too much of a rush. But we expected him to play against Barca, even if it was a cameo appearance for a lot of us. And then especially the Arsenal game because it's huge. He's going to miss all 3 now. He's going to miss all 3 games. Now, luckily, the team have been playing well without him in spells, and we have been getting games over the line and getting results, which is fantastic because it means we can try and continue that form. And I agree with Enzo Maresca. You have to find solutions when Palmer isn't playing. Obviously, we love it when Palmer plays. He's our best player. Up there with Moises Caicedo, those two neck and neck for different reasons. But you know what I mean. He is our best player. He has to be playing, and we win games when he's there. He's just incredible. We massively miss him, but we are getting on and getting results without him. It just makes me laugh that he stubbed his toe, fractured it, and now he's out for even longer. And this is 2 really iconic games for a player and for Chelsea. Massive games for us this season. Playing Arsenal and playing Barcelona in the Champions League in a game where it's basically a 6-pointer for us. We need the points, and he would have loved to have played them. Also, there's a bit of a running theme with him missing Arsenal games. I don't know why. Since he signed, I think I don't know if he's played any at Arsenal, or there's a load of Arsenal games he's missed through illness or just not being available, and that's another one with a fractured toe. Now, hopefully, because it's his small toe, I'm not saying it's any less of an injury. It's still very painful. You can't really do anything with broken toes either because of how small they are and sort of where they're situated, and you're always using them. Hopefully he comes back sooner because we do miss him. At the same time, the sort of silver lining to this is he gets some extra rest to make sure his groin is 120%. He's not being rushed back in any way, shape or form. He's not being pushed into any games that he's not completely ready for, even if he says he is. He has been forced to take even extra to kind of make sure he's at full match fitness, keep on working on his physique like he has been during this injury, and make sure his toes are all good. Whether or not I doubt he'll be training on grass because he has a broken toe, but he might be doing some light work. Who really knows? But let's just hope that he comes back soon and he doesn't have another freak injury, because this is something that it seems so avoidable as an injury, right? Enzo Maresca said, I get up in the night and I stub my toe here and I bang my head on this and I bang my leg on that. 2 very different ages that we're talking about here, and 2 very different people in terms of how common this type of injury is. But he does make a point. It can happen, right? It's just one of those things. It's just the timing of it. It just, you can't write it. You can't make it up. So I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Cole Palmer's fractured toe, which keeps him out for another few weeks at least. Do you think that this is just something you can't make up? Is it a cover-up to suggest his groin isn't actually fully healed? Would you rush him back with such a minor injury, or would you just give him as much as he needs and hopefully he comes back just before Christmas? So let's predict this Chelsea start 11 to face Burnley tomorrow in the early kickoff, the 12:30 kickoff at Turf Moor. Now, starting off in goal, I think it's very obviously going to be Robert Sanchez. Now, I'm hoping he continues as it is, because I genuinely feel like he's one of those players going under the radar in terms of most improved, because he's been so consistently good and improving for such a long time now. Again, not to say he's perfect, but he has made big steps forward in terms of being a reliable goalkeeper. So hopefully, no silly mistakes. Now we move on to the left back, and I feel like it's obviously going to be Cucurella. Now Cucurella did play a lot of minutes internationally, and I think they were friendlies or they were qualifiers, but Spain was so far qualified it didn't even matter if he played. But he's still played. Now, again, he's an integral part to Maresca's system. Could potentially see Hato start there, but I feel like it will be Cucurella, because historically, Chelsea don't do very well in the early kickoff games on a Saturday, so we're going to want everything going in our favour in any way that we can deal with it. So I feel like Cucurella will start. Now, I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I feel like the centre-back partnership for tomorrow will actually be Benoit Badiashile on that left-hand side, because he is a natural left-sided centre-back who has back from injury like a month early, which is fantastic news for us. And then I feel like it will be Fofana, because Enzo Maresca really rates Fofana, and I think he's just a really good defender. He's our second best defender, second behind Levi Colwill. And again, that is the standard partnership that Enzo Maresca wants when they're both fully fit. And I feel like, again, French connection, you've got a natural left-sided, a natural right-sided centre-back as a partnership. Maybe you're being a bit unfair to Trevor or Ashimpong, who have equally played well with Fofana or, separately. You could even see a Badiashile-Ashimpong partnership, because that worked very, very well against Liverpool. But I feel like that will be the sort of starting centre-back pairing going forward for tomorrow's game. Right back, I'm going to go with Reece James. Now, again, he did also play some minutes internationally, but we know that he is fit, raring to go, and can play up to 3 games a week now due to the recovery process he's been on for the last 12 months, and he's been fit. So I don't feel like it's much of a concern as it has been in previous years. We could also see Gusto start, but I genuinely feel like Reece James, if he's fit, he is going to play. Unless he decides for himself, like he's been very good at doing, identifying any sort of potential issues and saying, look, boss, I'm not quite ready, I don't want to play. If that happens, fair enough. If he is fit and ready to go, he has to start, in my opinion. He is our captain. But we could potentially see Gusto there. I just think it will be James. Going into those holding 6 roles, I think it's going to be Moises Caicedo, because again, this guy is an absolute beast. He's a machine. And it will be Enzo Fernandez, because he is rested and ready to go, because he didn't go to internationals and he wanted to kind of make sure he could get over, I can't remember the name of it, but it's something to do with a bone in his leg or his knee that he's been struggling with. So hopefully that he's fully rested. As Enzo said, he's ready to go. Him and Neto both taking this international break to make sure their energy levels are high and their injuries are minimal. So I feel like that's such a solid 11, by the way, without the front 4. Now, when it comes to the left-hand side, I'm going to say you start Garnacho. Garnacho wasn't used internationally. Gittins did play in the under-21s. And I just feel like at the moment, Garnacho is really coming to a peak of match fitness and match form. He's got 4 GA in the last 4 games, something that you can't ignore. He's doing very well, so hopefully he can start and continue that run of form. Now, in the number 10, I feel like it's going to be João Pedro. And there is a reason why I think it's going to be João Pedro. If I could spell João Pedro. João Pedro, we know, is a technically gifted player, and he can play either the 9 or the 10. And I feel like he plays a lot better in the 10. I think we can all agree on that. And I feel like a game against Burnley, it will make a lot more sense for him to be playing in that 10 role rather as the 9, because I feel like Burnley can be very physical. They're going to be up for it. They're the home team, and they're probably going to play a low block. And having João Pedro sitting behind to try and unlock that low block, I think is a perfect situation. Now, on the right-hand side, we would love to see Estevao start. We really, really would, but I feel like Enzo Maresca is going to go with the old trusty Pedro Neto on the right-hand side. So, and I'm not mad at it. Like I said, Maresca trusts him for his experience, what he could do off the ball and on the ball. I know he could be frustrating to watch, but again, I think he's very, very good on that right-hand side. He can exploit space if there is any, so can Garnacho. And essentially, you've got someone who likes cutbacks and someone who likes crossing the ball in, so you've got a bit of variety. Difference being is in that number 9 role, I'm going to go with Liam Delap, because I feel like this is a perfect game for Liam Delap to showcase his wheelhouse, his skills and abilities. Physical, can hold the ball up, can do damage in the air, can just take a shot from half a chance, a natural finisher in that box. I think that is a really, really solid 11 that we've got available to face Burnley. Now, yes, like I said, it's going to be a gritty, physical game. I feel like Delap can be a game where he rises to the top and really showcases why Chelsea bought him and how much of a bargain he can be. I genuinely feel like Delap is going to get on the score sheet tomorrow, because he can be that player that holds the ball up. He can be that player that can take 2 or 3 defenders to him to exploit space behind him for the likes of João Pedro to get in and behind. Would we like to see Estevao play? Yes, and I think he will definitely get minutes. He will come off of that bench and he will change the game, because the dynamics he brings are very, very different. But I feel like Delap is at 9, very, very powerful as that spearhead. João Pedro technically to try and find him in the channels and unlock that low block. Garnacho, cutbacks, and Delap having that fox in the box ability, being in the right place at the right time. Neto with the crosses, if he can find Delap, who is fairly decent in the air, and João Pedro is fairly decent in the air. There we go. I think that's where our attacking threat comes from. If Burnley play a low block, which they probably will, I don't know. They are the home team. It's early kickoff. They might come at us for a little while. As long as we can soak up the pressure, we might be able to hit them on a transition. But more than likely, what a lot of teams do when they face us is play a back five or a low block and just go, come at us and we'll deal with you and hit you on the transition. So I feel like with that 11, that is more than strong enough. We should be definitely getting the 3 points if it wasn't historically us being bad at early kickoffs. But I feel very confident about tomorrow based on the run of form and how our players have played internationally and the rest and the players coming back from injury. I think this is a perfect 11 to destroy Burnley tomorrow in the early kickoff. And that's the latest Chelsea news and the predicted Chelsea starting 11 to face Burnley tomorrow in the early kickoff. Do you agree with my lineup or do you disagree? Would you play players in a different position? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that, you're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail, actually enjoy that video too.